guys, time for a Fairmont update. So, lots of stuff to talk about this time. I can show, don't mind the red paint, this will be underneath the seat, you won't see it, but basically what we're doing here is this is tied into the cage, and it's tied into the upper control arm mount. And now it's tied into the lower control arm mount on both sides. So you know all that reinforcing that we did on the front lower control arm mount? Well, now it's tied into the upper control arms and into the cage. Also, more stuff going on. We started putting a sway bar on the car. Some of you who are not familiar with drag racing and the way cars that make a lot of horsepower twist, this is pretty commonplace. Put a rear sway bar in it and it keeps the chassis from twisting when the wheels are in the air. And you'll notice the upper control arm is a two spherical rod ends and a rod instead of with bushings and stuff, and we welded on a bump stop, so that'll bottom up against the bump stop obviously before the upper control arm mounts hit the floor. And I picked up some wheels for the back at least. They're Pro Stars, the 15x8 Pro Stars. Probably run a 15x9 or a 15x10 slick. They look pretty good on here. You can see there's the link for the sway bar. But we're just slowly picking away at stuff. We're really focusing on the rear, trying to get that done so that we can put it on the ground and roll it around and stuff. So the last episode, or maybe 2 episodes ago, you probably heard me debating between a 5.3 liter or a 4.8 liter. Well, you might have also recalled that I said I couldn't swing a 6 liter right now just because, it's they're usually expensive. Well, one popped up and price was hard to beat. It was 2 engines actually, a LS2 and a LY6. The LS2 had a spun rod bearing, so it's basically only good for the block. Planning to use that in another car, but the LY6 had a lifter noise apparently, and came with the intake and all that stuff. This is actually the intake that it came with. And so we're going to have square port heads on this, because it came with heads too. They were a little boogered. I'll show some pictures, but we fixed it up and should be good to go. I mean, this is the engine that people commonly refer to as a factory race engine. I guess the L33 they call that too, but it's square port heads and it's a 6 liter and it has Gen 4 rods, and it's about as good as you can get for truck motors. So this is going to improve our turbo situation pretty significantly, I believe. I'm going to leave the housings the way they are, even though I wasn't going to do anything there anyways, just because they're cheap. And I actually found somebody, I finally found somebody who was running twin Cash 7875s on a 6 liter, and he said it's not a good like street motor that you want to just fart around and do burnouts and stuff, because it's a little laggy, but when it's on the brake and you're actually racing it, it's good. It works really well. The turbo spool to 9 psi in 2.4 seconds on the trans brake, according to him. So that should be pretty good. Also, show this to you as well. I whipped this up on the 3D printer. It's a catch can, and notice the PACC. That's my family racing team, and some of the geometry in this thing is pretty cool. I'm hoping I can run it on this car, but you can actually print threads, which is really cool. And there's the inside. Yeah, you can see the threads there. I'm amazed at how well they print. But yeah, that's coming along, and we're just slowly picking away. So the only issue, going back to the engine, the only issue is, so that lifter noise I was talking about. All lifters looked perfect. I mean, they looked like some of the best I've ever seen out of a used engine, and that's saying something. And so I'm like, okay, this isn't good. So I started removing the cam, and it didn't want to come out. And I'm like, why won't this cam move? So I gave it a little more force. I didn't give it excessive force, just a little more force, and oh, there, now it started to pop out, and I started moving it out, and then it got stuck on the next journal, and I'm like, why won't this stupid thing come out? Well, I looked down, and spun cam bearing. Really sucks. So we took a punch. Luckily they kind of separate like this, and we just gently tapped it, and you can see this thing's mostly intact. It really doesn't look that bad. So the block is similar fashion. It's really not that bad. So we're gonna take it to our guy that helps us out with engines. He's gonna measure it out, and we might just throw a set of cam bearings at it and hope it it stays together and works. Worst case, we take the Gen 3 block that we have, we put the rotating assembly into that. But if the physical dimensions are correct, then it really shouldn't matter. We should be able to just throw a set of cam bearings. I actually already ordered some, just because I had anticipated just throw a set of cam bearings at it just cause. But we'll see. Either way, we're gonna overcome it. Just a little disappointing right now, just because I was all excited. I'd prefer a Gen 4 block. It's an iron block, so yeah, it's going to be a little heavier, but they're known to take a lot of abuse, and I want to put a lot of abuse to it. So just got to keep a positive outlook, and we'll get it sorted out, and we'll get it. So yeah, I'm really getting excited. I want to get this thing done. I want to do burnouts and go 8s. So I'm really happy with how the rear suspension is coming out. So I think I'm gonna leave you guys off there, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.